Welcome to ET Connections. I'm Melanie.
And I'm Ian.
And today we're going to tell a story about when we went to Upheaval Dome in Utah and did a CE-5 expedition. We were drawn to Upheaval Dome because we heard that it is a vortex and also has a sister vortex in Sedona, Arizona. When we arrived, we came to this parking lot and found that we got to hike. So we hiked without our gear first, and that was about 15 to 20 minutes. And we scouted out a spot which was on the rim of this crater of Upheaval Dome. Then we went back and got all our gear, which was a lot and usually is, and hiked it all in right before sundown. As we had been setting up, the clouds were starting to roll in. We took notice what air traffic was in the area, making notation of any flight paths and any other traffic to make sure that when it got really dark, we knew what was where and what we were looking at, what's normal, what's not normal. And so as the night began to progress, the clouds rolled in and covered the sky. And we're sitting there going, oh, what are we gonna do? And so I thought, well, I'm just going to invite them to come below the clouds. And so during our CE-5 meditation, one of the things I had done was envisioned, zooming into our solar system, onto planet Earth, into Utah, Upheaval Dome. And I showed the cloud cover and I envisioned them coming under the clouds. And then we're looking around and I looked behind me and I'm like, oh, and there was a light or so back in the distance. And I was thinking, but it kept staying there. So an hour later, I turned to Ian and I'm like, is that something? It's been there. I thought it was nothing, but maybe let's check it out. Let's see if that actually is something.
And that's when I grabbed my night vision monocular and I zeroed in on it and was checking it out. It turns out it wasn't just one orb. It was about, 4 or 5? Yeah.
He's like, Melanie, oh my gosh, there's so much more. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we're, hunkering over the monocular, me. And then...
Well, then after that, we continued to watch it and we noticed these orbs were dipping in and out of a canyon that was about 8 miles or so away. I believe it was Mineral Canyon. And so I grabbed our Canon DSLR, set it up on a tripod, pointed it in the right direction, set it at maximum focal length, which was 135, and I couldn't record at that darkness and distance. So I had to really open up that aperture and hit the shutter button for 4-second frames. I just kept hitting it hundreds of times.
For hours.
For a long time I was hitting that button, and so that way I could grab all those photos and put them together in a compilation so we could watch these orbs moving again and show others as well.
So after a few hours of watching these orbs, they continued to stay around, but it was 2 or 3 in the morning, and by that time, we originally are not from Utah, and so we didn't have a place to go stay, but we were really tired, so we're like, you know what, it's time to just go sleep in the car.
We slept in the car.
And so we packed up everything, did our 15-20 minute hike in the middle of the dark with our headlamps on, and said goodbye to the orbs. We're like, have a nice night, you're clearly busy. and went and checked out for the evening. So it's always really interesting because sometimes they will stay around doing, I guess, something else, even when we're like, wow, it's been a while and we're ready for bed. So we have our video here for you to enjoy.
Check it out. So after that, like I said, we spent the night in the car, and we woke up the next morning and we booked it to the local ranger station, Island in the Sky Ranger Station, which is the ranger station for Canyonlands National Park. And we zeroed in on a ranger and brought him over to their giant table-sized topographical map of Upheaval Dome.
Yeah.
And we pointed in the direction that we saw these lights and asked him,
Yeah.
is there anything out here that can make lights? And he said, nope.
Yeah, he seemed really surprised too, and because we're like, well, we were here, and the lights were over here, and he's like, there's nothing out there. And we're just like, oh, interesting. I think we even mentioned an possible ET sighting.
We didn't mention the ET sighting. We told him that we did see lights out there. He didn't seem open to ET experiences. We talked to a crystal guy about that later, but when we got back home, I did some research and I talked to a company who has been doing excursions in the Canyonlands for 60 years. They do parachuting, they do airplane rides, helicopter rides, boat rides, land ATV rides, and I thought, geez, if anyone knows, it'd be them. So I contacted them and I asked them, what do you think this is? And I showed them that same video clip. And they said, no idea. They said, some people have been calling the Canyonlands the new Area 51, but they had no explanations for me. And the other thing about that canyon is that it's rich in uranium, and it was part of the uranium boom, and there's lots of mines in that area. And we've heard that ET activity is attracted to uranium zones.
Thank you for joining us here today. We look forward to sharing our stories and ET connections with you in the near future. So please come back, like, subscribe, and have a great day.
Ta-ta.